welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. Today has been quite a day in terms of, oh my god, Warner Brothers, DC, Zack Snyder's Justice League, release the air cut, restore the Snyderverse. Definitely a lot of topics to talk about today, so let's get right into it. The first topic, however, is about Netflix. There is a new show coming out from Netflix, and I think this says Berserker, but it's spelled like Berserker. No. Okay, but yeah, Berserker. Exciting news! Netflix is developing a live-action film and follow-up anime series based on Keanu Reeves' Berserker, a brutally epic saga about an immortal warrior's 80,000-year fight through the ages. Reeves will produce and star in the film and voice the anime. It's Keanu Reeves, man. Like I say, it's a Keanu Reeves' Renaissance kind of in a way. You know, we've got a lot of John Wick. We got Matrix. Definitely, we're having this now. Cyberpunk game, that didn't work out quite well, but I'm still, waiting to play that. And this movie, so this is pretty intense, pretty cool. I love to see Keanu Reeves, Bill and Ted as well. I love to see him get some recognition. He's always been one of my favorite action film stars ever since the first movie I've ever watched him in was in Speed. And by the way, that's on HBO Max if you want to check it out. But this is cool that Netflix is doing this. So they certainly, love the creators that they bring on and their visions, and are waiting to, put a lot of investment into these people, unlike some other studios. But we'll get into that, just in a little bit. All right, the next topic is about Godzilla vs Kong. There's a new trailer coming out. That came out. This is the final trailer of Godzilla vs. Kong. There's lots of new footage here, as you can see, but I'm going to skip all that because a lot of them is just a bunch of clips. And at the end, this could be spoilers. If you don't want to see a clip right here, right after this thing, then go and jump to the Black Adam story. But here you go. I'm going to silence that, so I'm going to get tagged here. So that's that. And then right here, whoa, Mechagodzilla! It's Mechagodzilla! And there you go. Our first look at, Mechagodzilla within the film, in a way. And if I don't know if I can replay that back here. Let's see. Look at that. So that's the eye. It's opening up the hash. There's his spikes. That's his eye, that's his leg. There you go. So Mechagodzilla right there. For the first time, we've seen him in the final trailer of Godzilla vs. Kong. So that's coming out March 31st on HBO Max, and it looks like it's in theaters, like internationally. And I don't know if it's gonna. I think it's gonna be in theaters in America as well. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get to watch that though. Oh well. But next topic is Black Adam. So we're getting into the DC portion of this video. Dwayne Johnson shares the first page from his Black Adam script and says filming begins in 3 weeks. Now he has a video here. He's like drinking something and talks about being excited that it's going to film in 3 weeks. But basically the pages are here, as you can see right here. Black Adam by Adam Stickle, I can't pronounce it. Current revisions by Rory Haynes and Sohrab Noshirvani. Dwayne Johnson, as he goes through the first page, says, well, I love to wear a rainbow every day, and I tell the world that everything's okay, but I'll try to carry off a little darkness on my back till things are brighter. I'm the man in black. So that's, I guess it's like a poem or something that I don't necessarily think it's in the script, but it's definitely a poem used on the front page. This is the ideal of it. He's an anti-hero, as Dwayne The Rock wants to put it. But in 3 weeks, they're going to start shooting Black Adam. Another DC property that is finally getting underway, after many rumors and so on and so forth, is Zatanna. DC Films taps promising young woman director Emerald Fennell to write Zatanna superhero movie. Now this is being produced by J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot. It is going to be a DC film. It's actually going to be a live action movie adaptation and not a series as some people thought. So this is definitely going to be an actual big screen movie and it's called Zatanna. That's coming out for Warner Brothers as their deal with J.J. Abrams. You know, he signed that $500 million deal with Warner Media to come on and create. So it looking more like J.J. Abrams is shepherding a new age of DC movies under his umbrella. Zatanna is one of them. That new Superman film was another one, and I think that's it. I think there was going to be maybe Justice League Dark on HBO Max or something like that, but certainly some properties here and there, and this is certainly one of them. So Zatanna, for people who are excited, Zatanna is getting a live action movie. Whether that culminates to a Justice League Dark, Justice League, I don't know. We'll see. Don't know what is going to come of this anyway. But this is the first DC thing we're hearing after this extraordinary weekend that had Zack Snyder's Justice League. So that's interesting. And the next topic is about The Flash. Michael Keaton addresses his potential Batman return in The Flash movie. Now, I thought this was already squared away, because you did see concept art of him in the bat suit with, Ezra Miller's The Flash, Ezra Miller's new suit. We were talking about Michael Keaton this whole time. But Michael Keaton seems to kind of, throw out a little bit of, hey, might not be happening here. So my light just turned off. How's that? It's weird. All right, but Michael Keaton today just kind of cast doubt on it for some reason. So let's get into what he actually said. In terms of donning the cape and cowl for the third time, 30 years after 1992's Batman Returns, the plan is for Keaton to play a mentor-type role to younger heroes and appear in multiple movies. He said this to Deadline: "I am needing a minute to think about it because I'm so fortunate and blessed. I got so much going on now. I'm really into work right now. I don't know why, but I am. And so, yeah, to tell you the truth, somewhere on my iPad is an iteration of the whole Flash thing that I haven't had time yet. I called them and said, I have to be honest with you. I couldn't look at anything right now. I'm so deep into this thing I'm doing, Hulu series, Dope Sick. Also, I'm prepping a thing I'm producing and getting ready to go down the road in the fall that I'll be in, and I feel responsible to that." He also added, "So yeah, there is that. I'm not being cute or coy. If I talked about Batman, I'll just be bullshitting you. I don't really know. I have to look at the last draft." But the thing that worries the 69-year-old Keaton more than anything is the COVID-19 pandemic. He says, "I'm more concerned. I keep my eye more on the COVID situation in the UK than anything. That will determine everything, and so that's why I'm living outside the city here on 17 acres, staying away from everybody, because the COVID thing has got me really concerned." By the way, so, The Flash is going to film in April, is supposed to film in late April at the Warner Brothers Studios in Leavesden, United Kingdom. So that's the first thing, my first thing about all projects. I look at it and go, is this going to kill me, literally? And if it doesn't, then we talk. I'm coming back as Batman. He says, "I'm going to see what happens here. This is going to be kind of fun. We'll see what happens. I think it's kind of a drag we're talking about it." And I'm like, do you really know what the hell you're talking about? I could bullshit you, but once I go, I don't know. Are we going this or not? They say, yeah, we're doing it. Then I go, okay, now I'm going to overthink it. But until then, I don't want to think about it. It's very... I'm not sure what he's really trying to say there. But as for his wait-and-see approach to his Batman return, Keaton says, "You want to say like Joe Pesci from My Cousin Vinny, it's a thing, but it's not a thing." So, I don't know. It just sounds like he's not fully on board. Not fully on board. Like, did they sign him up and says, hey, you're going to do this thing, and, we're just going to announce it. We're just going to say, hey, he's going to be in this thing. And he's like, dude, wait. I didn't even, read the last draft. Like, I didn't say yes, but it's out there, so am I doing it or what? Like, what? And so it's kind of like, that's kind of weird. I thought he was already in, but it just seems like he's very, either being very coyish about it, or he's being like, it's already out. It's like, why would he have to be coy about it at this point? Other than maybe he's just not really that interested. It doesn't seem like he's interested. It doesn't seem like he's really into it. So I don't know what's happening with that, and I think maybe there's still negotiations or whatever. But it's just one of the weird things about this Flash movie. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, it just feels like a lot of things are being, like it's a dartboard. Like they're just throwing darts at it to see what sticks. It's like, can we get a Supergirl? Can we get a Superman? No. Can we get a Supergirl at least? Let's do it. Henry Allen. Oh, we got Billy Crudup. Oh, he's not coming. Well, let's get somebody else to play Henry Allen. Okay, Ezra is there. Oh, Ray Fisher doesn't want to, he doesn't want to work with Walter Miles, so let's kick him out. And then, but we're missing some cast here. Let's just get Iris West. Kiersey Clemens. Let's get her on board. I don't know. Maybe Brandon Routh. I don't know. Nick. I don't know. It's like there's so many factors in here. I don't know what this is looking at. I mean, how many drafts do they have? How many drafts do they have where they're like, this is the one with Michael Keaton in it. This is the one with Ben Affleck in it. This is the one with Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton in it. This is the one with Ben Affleck in it, but no Michael Keaton in it. This is the one with Henry Allen, but no Henry. This is the one with Cyborg in it, but not Cyborg in it. Like, what the fuck? Just, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. It just seems so weird, and I don't know what to make of it right now. They're supposed to be shooting next month. And until this thing shoots next month, I'm just going to start to believe that this thing's never going to come out. Like, it's just weird how this thing is going. But I guess we'll have to wait and see, There are more chances that Black Adam's going to happen at this point because, they're ready to go than the Flash movie. So that's that. But that gets into my next topic of conversation. This is the big one. It's about Warner Brothers and DC films. Okay? Variety put out an incredible big article the day after Zack Snyder's Justice League has been probably a complete success, and they decided to have a interview with Warner Media's Ann Sarnoff on Zack Snyder's Justice League and DC's future. Now it says Warner Media Studios, which actually is another word for Warner Brothers Studios, CEO Ann Sarnoff, chairman of Warner Brothers. So says, and I read it to you so you have the full scope of what's going on here. Says that the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League will complete the director's superhero trilogy, reinforcing the studio's desire to move past the social media campaign to hand back control of the DC film universe to the filmmaker. Now, actually, this is about a little about all this other stuff that's already within the articles. Now, I think I'll move down to the actual questions. Why did you decide to release the Zack Snyder's Justice League? And she said, we wanted to give Zack the opportunity to complete his vision in a 4-hour movie, which is impossible to do in theaters. We're happy that we have HBO Max to let the rope out, as it were, and allow the fans to see all 4 hours of Zack's vision. So this almost tells you right there and there that if it wasn't for HBO Max, we wouldn't have got this thing at all, honestly. What are our plans going forward for DC? We've got an incredible group of creators, television series creators, Max series creators, feature film creators, who are basically broadening the base of the talent that we work with on DC because we're so excited about the potential to build out the DC multiverse. She said multiverse. Okay, she said multiverse. It's one of the reasons why I was hired almost 2 years ago. The before and after was it was a very siloed organization with no connectivity between the businesses. DC was being developed, but it's in a kind of monolithic way in each division. My mantra coming in was to make it bigger and broader, and we really want to surprise and delight the fans with more connective tissue across the various media and platforms. I'm talking movies, HBO Max, television, and our games division. The Snyder Cut came about because of a fan campaign online. Do you feel like you need to strike a balance between being responsive to fans and charting your own course as a company? How responsive do you believe DC should be? She said this. We're always going to listen to our fans, but we are in service of the broadest fan base and we owe them an integrated, holistic strategy. We are the shepherds of the franchise, and hopefully when the fans see what we've got in store, they'll know what DC is in good hands across many different platforms with many different creators. We want different voices in the mix. For certain fans that want singular voices, they may be disappointed, but we would ask them to be patient and see what we've got in store, because perhaps the newer voices in the mix will have just as compelling stories to tell. On balance, you of course want to listen to your fans, but we do want to stay true to our vision and our mission for DC and build that out. Okay, so what she's trying to say here, almost a little hypocritical, is that first she says their vision, it was about the multiverse. Okay, that's about the multiverse. And now they says, do you want different voices to mix? So that means different visions, right? Okay. And so they want to say, oh, but we want to stay true to our vision. Our vision as in all those visions in the mix, or just your vision for what that is. That's not clear. But she does say they want different voices. Perfect. Great. We want different voices as well. Hell yeah. Of course we want different voices. We have weekly meetings with our key execs in every division. Last August, I was made head of studios and networks, and now I have all the creative groups underneath me. So now around that table, it's not just Warner Brothers Film, Warner Brothers Television, and Warner Brothers Games, but it also includes HBO and HBO Max and the Turner Networks, Adult Swim, and the Kids and Family Networks. We are involving all of those people in our plans going forward, and that means the media is going to be more connected. Sometimes in subtle ways and sometimes in more overt ways. Like opposite the Suicide Squad, we're spinning out Peacemaker with James Gunn and John Cena, passionately developing that for HBO Max. It's my job to make sure we super serve our fans across all demos and all fan bases. Okay, so that's kind of cool. There is a little bit where they're like saying, okay, first of they wanted different voices, but sometimes they want those voices to have the same connectivity, right? So that makes sense. The Suicide Squad, they'll have a spinoff where Peacemaker onto another medium, which is like TV, right? So that's cool. So you got Suicide Squad movies, Peacemaker and HBO Max. That's all fine and dandy. And she's saying serve all our fans across all demos and all fan bases. All fan bases. She said all fans. She said it from her side, all fan bases. There's also been a toxic side to the fandom, with reports that critics and some of your executives have received threats for not endorsing the Snyder Cut or for being perceived as standing in the way of its release. What's your reaction to that behavior? We're not tolerating any of that. That behavior is reprehensible no matter what franchises you're talking about or what business you're talking about. It's completely unacceptable. I'm very disappointed in the fans that have chosen to go that negative place with regard to DC, with regard to some of our executives. It's just disappointing because we want this to be a safe place to be. We want DC to be a fandom that feels safe and inclusive. We want people to be able to speak up for the things they love, but we don't want it to be a culture of canceling things that any small faction isn't happy with. We're not about that. We're about positivity and celebration. I agree. We should be about positivity and celebration. Definitely, there are minority amount of toxic fans out there that actually tag people and say things like that. But hey, and also there are definitely people who are angry, and that's out there as well. But so is every fandom. It's Star Wars, whether it be Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever. Game of Thrones even, right? But they're still your customers. Just gotta say, they're still your customers, and you need to at least listen to the majority of them. The campaign for release of Snyder Cut has moved into a new phase. It's now Restore the Snyderverse. What's your reaction to this new campaign? I appreciate that they love Zack's work, and we are very thankful for his many contributions to DC. We're just so happy that he could bring his cut of the Justice League to life, because that wasn't in the plan until about a year ago. With that comes the completion of his trilogy. We're very happy we've done this, but we're very excited about the plans we have for all the multi-dimensional DC characters that are being developed right now. So she's pretty much just saying that's done. With that, hey, you got your thing, you're done, right? So that really actually is not the same as her saying, serve our fans in all fandoms. Well, you're definitely trying to get rid of a big one here, especially one that's been trending over 72 hours. I don't know how many hours now since release, where it's not only just the fandom. It's people outside the fandom. It's bloggers. It's critics as well. It's NASCAR racers and musicians and rappers. I don't know, and football players and tons of just otherworldly people. Yeah, like not otherworldly people up out there. Doing Restore the Snyderverse. And so it just seems weird for them to just close it off. Some people I talked to said that this may have been an interview before the weekend, and so they're just putting this out now, maybe trying to kill the hype in a way, but I think it just made it worse. It's trending like right now as you speak, like almost 200K. Will there be more of these director's cuts? Will we see David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad? This is a cold one right here. We won't be developing David Ayer's cut. Just like that. We won't be developing David Ayer's cut. Gotcha. We gotcha. You just acknowledged that there was a David Ayer's cut. And David Ayer said he has a cut as well. You know, he said he has a cut as well, and relatively cheap to put out, like nothing much, just to edit it together and it's ready to go. Why would they not do that? It's pretty much almost free at this point in order to put more content on HBO Max. Like I said, this is Warner Brothers still yet, so it's not exactly HBO Max, but they do greenlight movies to HBO Max, so hopefully something happens here. But David Ayer's cut, come on, man, that's hardly anything. That was probably easier to come out than the Snyder cut, but it's pretty cold-hearted to just say we won't be developing David Ayer's cut. Yeah, serving all fans, service our fans, serve all fandoms. Doesn't sound like it. Doesn't seem like it. It's kind of hypocritical, don't you think? Yeah. Look at the DC slate. There seems to be an emphasis on creating opportunities for diverse creators and characters. You've got a Latino superhero with Blue Beetle, Sasha Cal, becoming the first Latinx actress to portray Supergirl, and Ta-Nehisi Coates writing a Superman movie. Is there a concerted effort to take the brand in a more inclusive direction? It's super important to me, and it's in line with what we want to do. We want to branch out and let creators interpret parts of the universe in unique and special ways. Ta-Nehisi working on Superman is incredibly exciting. I can't wait to see what he comes up with. And director Andy Muschietti on The Flash, or Patty Jenkins. By the way, where's Patty Jenkins? You know, she hasn't said anything about Wonder Woman 3. Where'd she go? Where'd Patty Jenkins go? Oh, she's flying a fucking X-Wing right now. Yeah, she's definitely on board. Matt Reeves just finishing the filming The Batman against the odds of COVID. Now, The Batman is probably the only good thing coming out of this. We're so excited to finish that movie and have people see it, because Matt's take on Batman is different than any other takes. Even familiar characters have lots of possibilities. You talked about breaking down silos in the company. What does that mean for DC? Creators want to have franchises that are larger than life, but oftentimes you start working with a company, and that company has discrete divisions. So you become a film creator, you become a television creator, and never the twain shall meet. My role is to put people together towards a vision that can make the whole more than the sum of the parts. One of the key aspects of that is having a long-range plan. These movies and TV series can take 2+ years to make. So if you're not planning out and bringing other people into the plan that further accentuates the silos, it's having the plan and then it's having the strategy where all the various business works in harmony to create the plan. It seems logical, but it's very rarely done well. One of the things I said to the group early was never let your fans see your organization chart, and boy, could that fan see our organization chart in 2019. And sometimes you need to show them the organization chart. You really do, because if they don't see what you're charting out, how are they going to have faith in what you're planning is good? I mean, I got to give it to Kevin Feige and Marvel. Those investor meetings or whatever, they charted out. They're like, this is what we got in store. Are you excited? And people are like, yeah, I'm excited. Holy shit. You're going to have Thor 2 and I don't know what, Thor, whatever. That, yeah. And there's stuff. There's Loki. There's WandaVision, whatever. You know, there's like stuff. The fans love that. They dig it in. They talk about it on YouTube, like I am. You know, they write about it, blog about it. They tell their friends. You need to show them. They're your fans, especially fans with brand, right? Star Wars, Game of Thrones. Well, more like Star Wars and Disney Marvel right now. But if you're chasing that, you're not exactly doing that either. Weird. So They saw, how did viewers and fans see the org charts when it came to DC? They saw this character in movies and had nothing to do with the character in TV, creating that more unified vision, which is coming together with Peacemaker, spinning off of the Suicide Squad, and you're seeing a lot more of that going forward. You'll also see original things in businesses that don't relate, and that's okay too, but we're in charge of that decision making about whether to connect the dots or not. We don't want to be predictable. We want fans to spot Easter eggs at the end of the movie that relate to a movie or show coming up for a show about to launch on HBO Max. We can harken back to something that was said in the Flash movie, or there would be a cameo appearance of one of the actors from one movie into a current show. Didn't Zack Snyder's Justice League just give you that? Like, there's so many fucking Easter eggs in there. It could spin off to multiple movies. Multiple movies. He laid out a plan for you guys. The best thing you can come up with is fucking Peacemaker? Ray Fisher has accused Warner Brothers executives of racially biased behavior and of trying to impede an investigation alleged misconduct on the set of Justice League. Did your investigation corroborate any of his claims of racism on the part of your employees? No. Our investigator, Judge Catherine Forrest, has issued statements specifically about DC Films president Walter Hamada, saying that there was no evidence of interference by Walter in the investigation. She said that the cuts made in the Joss Whedon version of Justice League were not racially motivated. We took it very seriously, so we hired one of the top investigators out there and gave her a tremendous amount of leeway. Oh, this is probably why I'm going to read to you. Ray Fisher had a thread today as well. Ray Fisher has previously stated that because of a non-disclosure agreement that he can't share specifics about the abusive behavior he endured on the set of Justice League. Is there an NDA that would prevent him from publicly sharing all the details of what transpired on Justice League? Not that I know of, no. And there's an editor's note there. A spokesperson for Fisher responded to Variety's request for comment with the following statement. Mr. Fisher is no longer under NDA and will comment further when appropriate to do so. Oh, I wonder what he's going to say. Ooh, I wonder if he said that today. Walter Hamada has been receiving end of a lot of fan criticism. What was his involvement in the production of Justice League? Walter had nothing to do with Justice League. He was not running DC Films in 2017 when Justice League was completed and released. He wasn't put in charge of DC Films until the following year. About a year ago, Walter, Toby Emmerich, me, Bob Greenblatt, Kevin Riley, and Sarah Aubrey sat around the table with Zack and greenlit the Snyder Cut. That cut includes Ray Fisher's entire story of Cyborg, which is something that he had been disappointed and had been cut from the Justice League movie 3 years ago. Perhaps we've lost the plot a little bit, which is that Toby and Walter were part of the green lighting that allowed Zack's vision to come to life. Of course, because they were pressured into by AT&T, which includes sharing the full story about Ray's character. There really was nothing that Walter did against Ray. In fact, he offered him a role in the Flash movie. Now, come on. Jesus Christ. Walter was promoted recently. I am fully supportive of Toby and Walter and their visions. I truly believe they are great executives. Walter happens to be a person of color, so he knows what that feels like. He is bringing in diverse voices at an accelerated pace, more than anyone has in the past. So it's clearly Ian Sarnoff is on the side of Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada this time. You talked about enlisting a broad range of voices when it comes to charting the future of DC. Is there one person calling the shots? The connective tissue in the middle is Jim Lee, great, who oversees DC Comics. Jim lives and breathes the canon of DC. He works with all the divisions to make sure the storylines are true to the canon. He helps them come up with ideas for new storylines, and Jim is very much in the middle of everything. But the group together helps spur on new ideas. But there's not one person calling the shots, because I want all the voices in the room to offer their expertise and knowledge of their formats, except Zack Snyder. As superheroes pop up in movies, on television, streaming shows, and games, how do you make sure there's not too much of a good thing? Couldn't that lead to oversaturation? One of the reasons I'm excited about our strategy going forward is it is multi-dimensional. We're not just serving the same fan base with the same creative vision. We're trying to expand it. Really? Not every fan has to love every piece of what we're doing, but we're putting out more tentacles to able to reach people with different stories on different platforms, so there isn't fatigue. It's not just the same cadence. We're going to mix things up. We'll have a slate of DC movies, but it'll be richer and more multidimensional with a broader array of characters that will help reduce the fatigue, because you'll see a whole story about the Flash, and then you'll see sequels like Aquaman 2 or new takes on Superman or Shazam, which plays to a family audience. There would be fatigue if we stayed on a more singular path, but because we are broadening, we'll have much more potential to grow the franchise across various demos and various types of fans. Beautifully said. That's exactly what we want. But that's not what you're saying. You closed off the Snyderverse. You're saying, we'll have all this, but Snyderverse, fuck that. David Ayer's version of Suicide Squad, fuck that. No. But we're gonna reach out our tentacles, or tentacles. We're trying to grab all the fans we want, except fuck those guys who are actually right now the loudest voices, the loudest, biggest supporters of DC right now, and you're pushing them aside. That's what you're saying. That's what you're really saying, and that is weird. For a corporate, I mean, it's a corporate company, but I feel like this company is more about their own ego than actually wanting to make money. They're saying all this stuff, but they're not practicing this stuff. Warner Brothers is like, we are going to create a multiverse of stories. At the same time, Warner Brothers is saying, we're going to create all these different stories, but the ones we want, and not exactly the ones that the fans want. I don't know. What are you saying to that? Like, how would you respond to that? Like, what would a company like AT&T look down at Warner Brothers and says, really? But it seems successful. You sure you don't want to, since it's multiverse, you guys can pretty much do anything at this point, broadening your fan base. That's what you're trying to do. You're not trying to slice a fan base. You're not trying to say, hey, no, this fan base it's gonna be PG-13 and you're gonna love it. That's almost the same energy, but worse. At least Kevin Feige is actually going to do a rated R Deadpool. Maybe not a rated R Blade or whatever, but maybe he'll change his mind. I don't know. Businesses keep moving and things like that. I gotta say, I'm gonna put it out there that this may have been like an older interview before Zack Snyder Justice League, and he just put it out because they tend to do that. Interviews sometimes are, days, even weeks before it actually publishes. Who knows? But we'll see, But for right now, I'm kind of like it's exciting the way she's selling it. The way she's selling it, I like. Because she's selling it like there's different visions that can come in here. We can have a multiverse of ideas and stories. People want to watch Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad. Go ahead. I'm not saying you can't. Go ahead. But why close off one segment and only make for these other segments? And to the point, like, those segments aren't even loud and trending. Like, Zatanna never even blew up today. What's happening right now? It's restore the fucking Snyderverse. That's what's happening right now. But poor David Ayer, man. Wait, let me close that. Poor David Ayer, man. He says, why? When they say we won't be developing BRZRKR, oh, man, that sucks, man. But you know what? Jay Oliva says, I remember a few years ago, Warner Bros. Stated they would not release the Snyder Cut. I think there's still hope. I, for one, would love to see David Ayer's movies. Yeah, exactly. Right? Now, this is a few hours ago, but it already was like, I stand with Ray Fisher, restore the Snyderverse, 187, Warner Bros. 13 released the Ayer cut 66.9 and actually went up to 75. This is just snapshots of things when that's trending. Restore the Snyderverse, I think, is over at 200,000 by now. But definitely, like, it's there. Like, and we didn't even like promote this too much. It's the world. The people who are watching Zack Snyder's Justice League right now and says this should have been the first one out. Why wasn't this released? They're calling for Restore the Snyderverse. They're calling other things too. I mean, they're calling Justice League 2, JL 2, Snyder Cut 2, what have you. But the energy is there. The noise is there. The needs are there. The wants are there. This is the customers. Demands are there. I don't know what company Warner Brothers is, but they seem to not want... They seem to not respond to customers very well. It's like people want something, but they're like, no, you got to listen to us. We're gonna give you something. You're gonna have to like it. I don't give a shit if you don't, because we're gonna do whatever you don't want. And I'm like, is that kind of counterproductive and counterintuitive and just really not making money for your company, the company that you work under, AT&T? Does Jason Kylar accept this type of mentality? I don't know. It just seems like if they're really out to serve the fandoms and putting out their little tentacles, as she's quoted, then one of those giant tentacles, the big ones, should be reaching out to the Snyderverse, because it's popping. It's popping. You know, restore the Snyderverse. Restore the Snyderverse and keep continuing to make whatever you guys want to make on that side. Because I'm sure there's people who don't like the Snyderverse. They're like, I want to see Peacemaker. You know, maybe they're far and few between, but whatever. You know, you're trying to serve the fandom, serve the minorities as well as the majority here, which is the Snyderverse. I've seen tweets out today where, like, we're back. After seeing what they've done post Batman v Superman, Justice League made me come back. And I'm like, great. That's crazy. I was at work today, and someone who I've never talked about Snyder Cut says, hey, I watched this 4-hour Snyder Cut or something, and it was great. I can't wait to watch it again. And I'm like, wow, I've never heard anything. I didn't even know you watch movies. So, like, that's the kind of reach it's getting. It's incredible. And to say no to that is like that column from Variety that I talked about yesterday. It's foolhardy. It's foolhardy. And it's plain damn stupid. Set aside your egos and start making money for the company you work for. Businesses don't thrive by itself. They have to find ways to market themselves, to sell the brands. What's a stronger brand right now, especially after this weekend, than the Snyderverse? That's all I'm saying. I'm sure many corporations would agree. Not Warner Brothers. I know Netflix agrees. Netflix, they got Zack Snyder pitched them Army Dead. They're like, holy shit, that's awesome. There's your movie. There's your anime series. There's your prequel. What else you want, Zack? Anything, because we know that we're going to get hits out of you. That's the kind of confidence that those studios are making. Successful ones. Netflix, the most successful streaming service out right now, that even Disney Plus and of course HBO Max is trying to catch up to. So, if the most successful streaming service out now, called Netflix, signs up Zack Snyder and wants him to do this and that and more, you don't think that is a sign of trying to tell you flat on your fucking face that we better sign this motherfucker as well? Jesus Christ. Come on. That is just I'm just absolutely ridiculous that they won't go that way. That's just their ego talking. That is ego from Toby Emmerich and Walter Amada. Mostly Toby Emmerich. Their ego talking, right? And there's corrupted Ann Sarnoff as well. Unbelievable. Well, let's hope Jason Kylar has more to say about that as we get our true numbers. We haven't gotten that yet, by the way, of how many subscribers came on HBO Max, how many stayed there, and stay there, by the way. Keep subscribing to HBO Max, because that's the only way you can watch the Zack Snyder Justice League right now, so why aren't you? Definitely stay on there. Zack wants you to stay on there. Stay on there as long as possible. But let's go on further, as there is that Ray Fisher thread I wanted to read, because I think he responded to it. Okay, here it goes. Apparently, some folks at Warner Media think that a room full of executives saying we can't an angry black man at the center of the movie and then removing all black and POC from that movie isn't racist. Odd. The investigators hired by Warner Media was brought on to help the company assess and evade legal liabilities, continually touting her status as a former federal judge in an attempt to sway public opinion is obvious and desperate. She is now simply a lawyer. As I've said, people will attempt to shift blame completely to Joss Whedon for the Justice League reshoots. Toby Emmerich and Jeff Johns and John Berg shared in that responsibility, with Johns working directly with Joss on restructuring the script based on the exec's convos. Wow. Furthermore, there really was nothing that Walter did against Ray. In fact, he offered him a role in The Flash. And Walter happens to be a person of color, so he knows what that feels like, or the absolute definition of tone deaf. Wait a minute. I don't remember reading that. Was that in the original article? That is a weird thing to say. Walter happens to be a person, so he knows what that feels like. That is a weird thing to say. That's like a whole bunch of friends like, hey, I have a black friend. I have a black friend. I'm totally not racist. And dude's Asian. I'm Asian. Shit. But, I mean, that's just weird. That's a weird thing to say. I don't remember. Did I miss that in the article? Wow. Final thought for now. Rather than trying to convince people on what the Justice League investigation didn't find, how about you start telling them what it did? That's a good point, you know? What did they find? The public is a lot smarter than you're giving them credit for. The proof is there. More soon. And I'm wondering what other stuff he has. Now that the NDA is gone, he's able to talk about stuff. I'm wondering what it is. You know, I'm really curious to see what comes out of this. All this. And yeah, I'm also, you know, I'm pretty curious. Like, what did they find? Like, what did they find? Or why aren't they telling us what they found? Like, I know they want to keep it private, but at the same time, it's like, well, shouldn't, you know, people know if it's just a safe place to work at? And have you fixed the issues that were there? What were the issues, you know? Should I work for Disney instead? Because maybe they're not as, you know, I don't know. You know, this is like, I think they should put that out. You know, if they want to have faith in the public, you know, they definitely need to show any effort to show that they're a safe work environment by saying what they did, how they handled it, and who's responsible for some of that stuff. So I think that would be great for us to find out. All right, well, let's get into some positives here. I mean, that was interesting. And I'm really curious to find out what happens. Am I bummed out at all? Nah, not bummed out at all. I mean, I knew who called the shots. I already told you a long time ago, and many times, Warner Brothers is not going to restore the Snyderverse. It's going to be up to the parent company, okay? It was always up to the parent company. Warner Media and AT&T, right? And Jason Carlar at this point, right? To supersede any decision. And if they make it a series, that just gives them an out from having to deal with Warner Brothers altogether. So there is that. So don't worry. There's still, I'm not even worried about that. I mean, we have come a long way since Release the Snyder Cut was, a Snyder Cut does not exist. It's a pipe dream. It's some fable. It's a myth. By who? By an anonymous exec. Okay. Now we're at the, like, it's like the final stage of a video game. We're at the Ann Sarnoff level. She has come out to face us now. Okay, we bring it on. Bring it on. Restore the Snyderverse. Bring it on. And you know what? We're joined now. Not alone. Not alone anymore. We're not broken. We're not alone. We've got millions of people now. Like, everybody out there who's watching Zack Snyder's Justice League and is loving it is also saying restore the Snyderverse. They're also saying we want to see the next one. When is the next one? Are we going to get to see the next one? You know, and before I get into this, even like Leslie Jones, right? I told you she's been tweeting out, commenting about the movie at Blast yesterday. almost like all the different scenes. And Zack Snyder saw her. It says, official Zack Snyder Justice League whisper, I bow to you, my queen, Leslie Jones. And she said, so what's my role in the next one? It has to be at least 4 hours, and I want to be a villain, and the last one killed, and my issue is I didn't work it out with my cousin, just saying. And, you know, even not even that, it released a zeitgeist, right? It came out even further, and I wonder if I can find the tweet that I did about that one, where Stephen Colbert, not Colbert, although it'd be funny if Colbert did it, but Stephen Colbert had a little Snyder Cut skit, you know, talking about how he kind of replaces Lex Luthor in that skit, and he talks to Deathstroke in itself. I can't find it right now, but I'll definitely I'll share it with you. I'll put it in the description down below if you want to take a look at that little video from Stephen Colbert, and he called it the Colbert Cut. Oh, here we go. I put out the 3 laughs there, and that it's out in the open. That's the zeitgeist. Late Show Colbert, you know, and I'm gonna fast forward to the parts where he's as Lex Luthor talking to Deathstroke. And it's a funny ass skit. But the point is, that got out there. The Snyder Cut went out even farther out. And, you know, millions of people are watching that as well. So it's already out there. There's no stopping this train. So I wouldn't worry about little Ann Sarnoff and, you know, the Warner Brother Pictures over there. Luis Fernando, in India, retailer Book My Show reports the Zack Snyder Justice League had 100, and I don't know if this 100,000 is the way you say that, in the first 3 days in their streaming platform's biggest performance in stream, debuted in India on February 5th, offering movies like Tenet, Wonder Woman 84, and Unhinged on launch day. So it blew that out of the water. Definitely blew that out of the water. So in India, it looking really good. Also, according to Samba TV, HBO Max and Disney Plus ended this weekend streaming war almost evenly with Zack Snyder's Justice League and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier debuts. Snyder Cut was seen by 1.8 million households in 4 days, and while Falcon Winter Soldier was seen by 1.7 million households. Now, he wants to remind us that Samba TV only measures selected opted-in smart TVs with its automated content recognition technology. Well, what means they only reach a limited amount of devices, households in the US only. Actual total households may even be higher for both. So that's crazy how a movie that, you know, essentially people thought that came out and this is like a different cut of it, made more than a new product from a big, by far one of the biggest brand names out there, maybe even the biggest brand name out there, aside from Star Wars, maybe even more than Star Wars. Actually, I think it's more than Star Wars. The MCU. It made bigger than that. Can you imagine if Zack Snyder's Justice League actually came out years ago? How far we would have been by now? Seriously, how far would have been by now? But the hype's not over. There's still more stuff coming out. We finally got a look at the limited edition steelbook for the Snyder Cut coming soon. Oh, and this looks so sweet. This looks so freaking awesome. Look at that. That's very much Excalibur-like, which I love because I love King Arthur. Great to see all the characters' hands going up there, sword, trident, and everything. Pretty freaking sweet. The inside of the steel can looks great, looks incredible. Outside with the mother box, that beautiful. Oh my God, I can't wait and lose some cash. All right, waiting for the stimulus. But yeah, Store HMV has it now, £29.99, I think. So I don't know, can I watch this in America or is that only UK? That's only UK. But for UK, congratulations, you got something cool. You know what? I might just buy it just for the box. I don't know. I don't know if you can play this. I don't know anything about regions and stuff like that. But let me know down below if I can actually play this in America. And if not, well, I'll get the English version, and if it doesn't look as cool as Steelbook, I'll just keep the Steelbook and throw the English ones in there. You know, the US ones in there, and that'll be kind of cool itself. So cool. This is not Zack Snyder's Justice League, but just wanted to let you know Zack Snyder posted this today. These just arrived. These are the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition, the one with the IMAX, you know, when it comes to the IMAX scenes, it will be that 4:3 scale, 4:3 aspect ratio, and it's 4K Ultra HD. So that's available now, I believe, or he's just teasing that's going to be available. I pre-ordered it. Did it ship yet? You know, I didn't even look. So, well, that would be that. So that's awesome too. All right. Well, now let's get into the members' comments and questions. Like I said, if you want your comment or question read on the show, please, join as a member down below. All right. Flo's Film Couch. Hi, Chris. I finally saw Zack Snyder's Justice League yesterday, and it really blew me away. Wow. Such a beautiful, visionary, badass, epic, emotional behemoth of a movie. Every character had his moments. I was kind of sad that the Gordon, Batman, Aquaman scene was missing. Good to see you get along well with others again. Maybe just temporary. Love Steppenwolf's arc and intentions. The score was awesome and hauntingly dark sometimes. The third act was amazing. I just can't believe we did it and finally got to see it, so surreal. I was crying when the credits started rolling for Autumn, popping up with Hallelujah playing. Thank you for your ongoing support for Zack, giving us all the daily news and infos, Chris. Sorry this is much too long. Greetings from Bavaria Flo. Oh, don't worry, I've gotten it longer. But thank you. It's great to see that you love the movie as well, man. Jonathan Mueller. I told you Warner Brothers would fail. Yes, you did. Snyderverse is found, HBO Max, and we will stop at nothing to possess it. Ready the hashtags. We will use the old ways. Restore the Snyderverse. I love that. That's so cool. Nice. Free Space said nice. 9 times and you're a working parent? Damn, I know. I mean, honestly, like sometimes it's actually playing in the background, like not fully focused on it, but I was able to do it. And you know, you got to remember, like 3 of those times were screeners, where I had with a screener, and then about 6 times would be actually on HBO Max. Aloha, Chris. Nothing like kicking off the week with your dailies after weekend crammed with Zack Snyder's Justice League, which, by the way, is on repeat on HBO Max's different formats, Chromecast, Fire TV, Android, and download, as I figure it can't harm the ratings. On the back, Zack Snyder's Justice League success and no doubt return on income, at least for HBO Max's increase on subscriptions, it's got to be a no-brainer for AT&T and Warner Brothers in restoring the Snyderverse. More AT&T, actually. And having JL sequels in the works. Future Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Flash movies could still be their own thing as standalone movies. Agree? My only fear is that we might be in for another long ride, just like the Snyder Cut all over again for JL sequels to see the light of day. And yeah, I guess you could, but seeing that the noise has quadrupled even tremendously because there's more people, the normies, are joining in, which could actually help our cause even further. Jason Kyler, just let Zack handle DC shows and movies. Walter can move on to, I don't know, maybe Tom and Jerry. Ah, that's hilarious. Maybe Tom and Jerry. Did anyone pick up on Cyborg's new power at the end where it seemed after connecting with the Unity, he's now able to reconstitute matter, like he did with the tape recorder he previously broke? Yeah, I saw that, but I thought it was just like he was able to reform technology or something like that. But it did look like it was floating by itself, so I think you have something there. I have friends who have never seen Justice League. Due to the terrible reception, I envy those lucky mofos because they will never know. Well, have they seen Zack Snyder's Justice League, though? I'm wondering. The nightmare scene was shot digitally. Zack confirmed to use his red monster on that. Last scene should be digital too, since it's supposed to be additional photography. Zack did a great job matching them through with the 35mm film. I really don't believe there's anything artistic about the choice, just that Zack liked using his camera on Army of the Dead, and it was simpler. I'm going to agree with you, Manu. I think that's what I heard as well. That's why I said I think it was easier. There's nothing, you don't have to think too hard about it. It's not what could have been. It's not what could have been. It's what's going to be, my brothers. Keep fighting for Snyder. Restore the Snyderverse. PES, as it hopefully loads. If just one of our heroes fell during their mission, the world would have been destroyed. This is a true Justice League masterpiece. That Variety article on the need for Justice League 2 is goated. Ready the Armada. We will use the old ways. And just like that, we get Zack's vision for the Snyderverse, Batman Beyond, Barbara Gordon as their mentor, an older Batgirl, Carrie Kelly as Robin, and young Bruce Kent, son of Clark and Lois, as new Terry McGinnis type Batman. Dare we hope for a kind of romantic relationship between Carrie and young Bruce? Justice League was canon for the films at the time to follow, Aquaman, Wonder Woman 1984. I loved Aquaman, but there was no missing the Jeff Johns campy humor points, like the tough guys in the pub with the pink phone, Wonder Woman 84 was just total wet dream with his style campiness. However, since those films, the Fool lost his power of influence due to his own stupidity. Now we have Zack's Justice League, and I expect that the canon will now be reset. Aquaman's sequel and the third Wonder Woman will now follow with more gravitas, as it should have been. Lest we not forget, James Wan met with Zack behind Warner Bros. Back to remove the Whedon influence from the Aquaman movie. Well, I'd hold off on the Warner Brothers side for now. Ready the hashtag Armada will use the old ways. I believe in Jason Kylar. He's the boss of Van Sarnoff, restored to Snyderverse. I'm just now getting caught up on your episodes. I watched the movie and it was so fulfilling, so epic and powerful. The dialogues and character interactions were so great, and it really makes Joss Whedon look dumb and immature in comparison. There's so much I could say about this movie, but I just can't organize my thoughts, and I don't want to go along with this. But definitely restore the Snyderverse. This is by no means a cul-de-sac. We need to see more of his universe. Also, I've always been curious as to exactly why Ava DuVernay is attached to New Gods. What was Warner Bros.' basis on choosing her? Is it because of A Wrinkle in Time? Because if so, then that's some major cause for concern. A New Gods story could be just as epic as Justice League, so the last thing we need is a whimsical fairy tale story. Yeah, I'm still unclear about Ava DuVernay's front and whether that's actually greenlit or not. I'm hearing that it wasn't, it hasn't, and it's really just her trying to get a story going, but you know, it'll be interesting if Davey works with her and Stone Quarry helps it out, and it becomes like a Stone Quarry production for that. But yeah, interesting. New Gods is one of those that are like, what's going on with that? You know, what's going on with that? All right, well, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you absolutely love this daily dose of entertainment news and content, please click the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time. Restore the Snyderverse!